Hi everyone, my name is Lauren. Welcome back to my channel, Plants and Things. Thank you for returning. If you saw my other videos, I really do appreciate it. But if you are new, I would also really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. And at any time when you're finding some value on this video, please smash that like button below. I would really appreciate it. And also it helps other people that are interested in plants or care for plants, house plants, anything planty. It helps them to see the video anytime that you comment or like the video. So I would greatly appreciate it. But today in this video, we're going to be discussing the lipstick plant or Aschenanthus and how to care for it. Today in this video, we're going to be discussing the lipstick plant or Aschenanthus, and it is originally a tropical plant, and like most houseplants, and sorry, my dog is chasing a fly. It's really funny. This has these really nice, thick, almost succulent-like leaves that they hold water well. And so we'll get into the watering and everything later, how that comes into play. But I got this not too long ago. I didn't see this plant at all in any like big box store, like gardening section of a big box store. However, it is winter time, and that could also be why I haven't seen it there. But I did find it at a local gardening store. So if you're looking for it, that might be where you want to go, or of course online where you can find everything. So what's special about this plant is that it flowers, and it can flower all year round if the conditions are right. So I'm going to tell you a few things that is really going to help maximize the best conditions for this plant so that you can get it to flower all year round and not just in the summer and spring. As far as lighting is concerned, the Aschenanthus does prefer bright indirect light. Also for the lighting, it can't really handle bright direct light because the leaves can burn easily. That's going to be your east or west facing windows. If you don't have either of those, you can definitely compensate with a grow light or moving the plant back if you have a south facing window. So for me, I do have east facing, but it's winter time and the light is just not consistent enough. Like today it's really gloomy and the days are just way too short. So you can definitely compensate with the grow light. So that's what I've been doing. Just putting her under a grow light for a few hours a day to help give her a little bit more light so that maybe she will bloom for me. I see the little peduncles, so I'm hoping at some time flowers will come out of it. So guys, I'm here just to show you an update on my lipstick plant and how she's doing. She is blooming and she looks beautiful. I'm so excited about it. So I just wanted to come in and just quick show this clip update here. It has been a few months. I'll put the exact date to show how long since when I first filmed the video, when I first got her, to now, and how long it took for her to bloom. But she is doing so well, and she's not fully bloomed. This is just the first part of the flower. There's gonna be another portion that comes out after that. But yeah, she's doing really well. So definitely stay tuned for the tips that I put in this video on how to care for her to get her to bloom, because it's working. It is working. She is looking beautiful. Very happy with her. For watering, this plant does like to dry out in between waterings. And it's funny, when I was at the plant shop, the lady said to me, yeah, just let it dry out. It doesn't need to stay wet all the time. But when you water it, try not to get the leaves. Try not to get the leaves wet. And I should have asked her at that time why, but I didn't. But from my research, this plant is more susceptible to mold or fungi disease. And so I believe that's why she said that. And also too, it's pretty dense. This plant is kind of dense. And I imagine that if water, sits on here along with the great conditions of the humidity, it can definitely produce mold and fungi disease. So if you already have one, to look out for it, to know what to look for, it shows up as black dots, black spots on the leaves or the stem, because the stem is green just like the leaves. So if you see any black spots along it, that is going to be that fungi disease, and you would want to cut off the areas that have that to prevent it from spreading to the rest of the plant. So for watering, you want to definitely allow it to dry out a little bit, whether you use a moisture meter, chopstick, your finger. Just make sure that first, top layer of soil is not still wet before you decide to water it. So like most plants in general, this plant helps to purify the air, but it's not really known to be an air purifying plant. So I wouldn't say that the Aesculapius is an air purifying plant. Just generally speaking, for plants, they remove carbon dioxide from the air and release oxygen. So it's good for that. And when you're ready to repot your plant, or if you have any propagations that you're ready to pot into soil, if you're choosing to use soil, you want to use an aerated soil mix, whether it's like a cactus soil mixed with some pumice or even just a general potting mix. You still want to always mix in something to aerate the soil, like a pumice or a perlite. I do prefer pumice only because it's a little heavier and it kind of stays where you mix it in with the soil, whereas perlite over time it tends to float to the top. So whichever you choose will still work. One just may require a little more maintenance along the way. But either way, you want to mix it with soil that's going to be you want to put it in soil that's going to be aerated if you choose to use soil. So because this is a flowering plant, when it comes to fertilizer, you'd want to use something that's going to promote flowering. And those are usually fertilizers that are going to be higher in phosphorus. So if you've ever seen that those 3 numbers on fertilizer bottles or bags, that is talking about the concentration of macronutrients. So the macronutrient that helps with flowering is going to be phosphorus. So that's going to be the type of fertilizer you would want to use for it. And of course, you will follow the directions. I always suggest, if you're using a inorganic fertilizer, to dilute it a little more than what it recommends, just because it is inorganic and there's always the risk of over fertilizing or burning the roots of the plants. Whereas if you choose an organic fertilizer, that's less likely and they're a lot more gentler, but there are still some organic fertilizers that are going to be for flowering plants, and that's what you would want to use on your Aesculapius. If you want to do a DIY fertilizer, that's also an option. You could use chicken or fish bones and just grind them up and mix them in with the soil, and that as well is going to provide a good source of phosphorus to help produce the flowering of the plants. So that's something that I'll definitely be trying, because I really, 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 really want this plant to flower. So I'm going to be doing all of these things, making sure the conditions are perfect for flowering. And that's the one good thing too. The plant, of course, is going to be more likely to flower in the summer and spring. However, if you get the conditions just right, you can get it to flower all year round, and that's going to be my goal. Hi guys, I'm just popping in with another update as well on my Aesculapius plant, just to kind of give you an idea of where she lives at, what her environment is like. So I do have my humidifier here, and it's on low, it's not on high, and it just gives a continuous flow of humidity. And she has a grow light, but I don't have it super close. Normally, actually, it is usually normally a little closer than that. Just because I was away from home for a couple of days, so I didn't want it to be like beating down. But she's not like super close under the grow light. I would say normally it's probably about that close under the grow light. And I usually have it on for about 10 to 12 hours in a day. I'll put it on when I leave before work, and then I'll turn it off before I go to bed. So probably about 10 to 12 hours. And like I said, she is grouped around other plants, so that helps as well with humidity, along with the humidifier being there on the low. So she's not far from my east facing window, but as you can see, it's not super bright here. The winter time is just killing us right now. So that is the conditions that she has been under in order to get her to flower. As you can see, she's almost ready. And I've only watered this probably once since I got her. Again, I'll put the date of when I actually got her. And her soil has stayed pretty moist, so she doesn't need a lot of watering at this time of the year at all. So because this is a native tropical plant, high humidity is going to be best for this plant. And so if you have a humidifier or a group of plants, that'll be best to keep it near there. Or if you're lucky enough to have a bathroom that has a window, I wish I had a bathroom that had a window because that would be so great for my plants. It would be a jungle in my bathroom if I had a window in my bathroom. But if you have a window in your bathroom, that's a great place to put this plant. It'll get the regular dose of humidity, but it just does also need to have the proper lighting as well. And for temperature, this plant can survive in lower temperatures as low as 50 degrees. However, if you want it to flower, you want it to be between 75 to 85 degrees. That's going to be the ideal temperature range to get this plant to flower. But it can survive in the lower temperatures. And that's nice too, because sometimes we don't always have control over our, the temperature. If we leave the home during the day, we may not put the, leave the heat on all day long, or come home and turn the heat on. It fluctuates. So it's good to know that she can stand to be a little chillier, which is good for me because over here it's getting chilly. It's getting really chilly. And lastly, thankfully, this plant is non-toxic, so you don't have to worry about your pets or dogs, cats, birds, whatever you have, being harmed by this plant. She is pet friendly. So that is it. That's all the information I have for the H. Canenthus lipstick plant. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, did I even ask anybody in the beginning? I did ask to subscribe, but I didn't mention my Instagram. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, I am plants_n_tings. I will definitely be sharing an update on this plant and showing you if I can get her to flower. And like I said, if you have any suggestions, please drop them in the comments below. So anything that's worked for you in the past, that I would love to take your recommendations. But yeah, follow me on my Instagram. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that you found it helpful. If you did, please hit that like button, and I'll see you in the next video.